Hi, my name is Jessica.
Hi, my name is Noelle, and this is our book, Running on Empty.
Written by Aker. What is Running on Empty about? Running on Empty is a book with many twists and turns. It begins with a boy named Ethan, and he's been given everything ever since birth, but now is put into a situation where he has to work and provide for his own. When given this task, he finds out much more than what is expected.
So the social issue that we've chosen is greed. Now, what is greed? The English dictionary defines greed as an excessive consumption of or desire for food, gluttony, excessive desire as for wealth or power. In simpler words, it's an intense desire for something, especially wealth, power, or food. In Ethan's case, it was all about wealth. His greed for wealth consumed him completely, leaving him with nothing but pain. Nonetheless, he continued to chase after wealth, which in turn consequently made his love for wealth eventually turn into a desire.
But Noelle, who's affected by this?
That's a very good question. Who's affected? You. The price of greed does not only affect those who are directly involved, but it also affects those who are indirectly attached in one way or another. Greed damages the relationships of families, friends, and various associations. One major form of...
Okay, Noelle, but what's economic greed?
You see, when the government or leadership realizes that there is a problem that distresses the income or profit of their resources, they begin to instill rational solutions on the people, which is you, in order for them to recover from their loss. Parents and young children are then homeless and hungry. This is where the domino effect comes into play. Now, the family that has been affected informs their loved ones and friends in hopes of receiving help. Their friends and loved ones now invest hundreds of dollars before being directly affected by economic greed themselves. By the end, guess what? Everyone's broke.
This is a big issue because people aren't aware of it. Unfortunately, people only come to the knowledge of this issue when it's too late. The media doesn't particularly portray greed as a negative thing. For example, a young man killed his whole entire family in hopes of gaining profit from their wealth. The media then began to portray him as a lost child, when in fact he was a psycho adult. What is being done to solve this issue of greed? Nothing. Once this issue is presented in court during a case, the verdict given only makes the person who's dealing with greed feel much worse. They either lock them up for a long time without help or throw them into a program which makes them feel less of a human.
Now, Ethan didn't necessarily go through economic greed. He suffered from selfish greed, much like the boy who decided to kill his own family. Selfish greed is more of a personal issue in which a person only thinks of gaining wealth or power that would benefit themselves. Now, let's compare the two. Both of them alike only realized that they had given into their greed once it was too late. Ethan ended up accidentally shooting his sister, while the accused murdered his whole family. Another point that I'd like to direct you towards is the fact that both of them made a goal, made a plan, then went on to execute it while they were in their own selfish mindsets. However, the accused pre-calculated the murder, while the shooting of Ethan's sister wasn't planned. In the following slide, Jessica will give you some direct quotes for you to understand Ethan's selfish desires more clearly.
Every action has a chain reaction that never stops. Ethan was upset that his father didn't just pay for the damages of the car. Instead, Mr. Palmer turns everything into a life lesson. You can tell just by listening to this, Ethan just wants everything handed to him, when in fact that he should earn things himself. He reacts this way throughout the entire book. All you think about is yourself. You're so wrapped up in what you want and what you think you need that you don't even give a damn about anyone else. An old guy lives on soup and you can't even give him back the money of the ticket he bought you? That's cold. Throughout the book, Ethan's greed problems have gotten out of hand. Everyone at this point has tried and tried but have failed to open Ethan's eyes to get him to realize that money isn't everything. After this quote, the rest of the book, Ethan is facing all his problems on his own, and that's the price you have to pay when you let something like money control your world.
Whose voice is left out? All those who are affected by greed in one way or another, voices are left out. The media and leadership have the power to tackle this issue, but instead fail to do so. Voices are only being heard when it turns into a national crisis. This needs to be stopped.
In the end of the book, Running on Empty by Aker is just a story about a boy who rediscovers himself after losing everything.
Created using Powtoon.